So, hang on a second, right, let's look at this, right? Look at all this empty space around us, right? Is that consciousness?
Why? What makes you think it's empty space? Just because it's
Well,
not
it's
filled
empty
with,
space.
It's not filled with physical objects.
Well,
but we know it's not empty.
No, I know. But I'm describing it as such to enable us to, hopefully to understand what I'm talking about, and for people out there to understand. We have all this empty space around us. Okay, it's not empty. It's energy or whatever it is. Doesn't matter. But is that consciousness?
All matter is a transformation of energy.
Is this matter? This stuff that I'm playing with my fingers?
Yes, I mean, whether it's air, if you think of matter as molecules and things, that's one thing. But what I think we're starting to kind of see in our study of physics is that thinking of matter in terms of just atoms and molecules is limiting. And we actually have to start seeing these as vibrational energy, or energy vibrating in certain ways. And what we're really saying is that somehow or other, consciousness affects the transformation of conscious energy into matter. And yes, matter is a form of transformed conscious energy.
But without energy, there's nothing that consciousness can transform into matter.
But the only energy that exists is consciousness.
Okay.
The only energy there is consciousness.
So
that's the sarva kalvidam brahma, that everything ultimately is Brahma, which basically means conscious energy.
So everything...
But that doesn't mean it's conscious. It's a transformation.
Well, tell me the difference.
It's deadened conscious energy.
Okay.
And therefore it appears as matter. Whereas you and I, simply by the fact that we are thinking, and kind of willing and somehow or other have this sense of consciousness, and all we can say is, I think I know what consciousness is because I kind of feel it. I kind of feel I am conscious, and that's about as empiric as we can go on that one. But somehow or other, we are the spark of conscious energy which is inhabiting this bit of physical matter, the body, but the body itself is formed of cells, which again have some conscious energy within controlling the cells. The cells are composed of atoms, which also have individual consciousness, somehow or other controlling the behavior of that matter, and somehow or other, getting down to that level, if there is a thing called matter, it's really some form of transformed conscious energy. Somehow or other, down to the,
So you wouldn't then, because I've had this conversation with other people, right? And because it fascinates me. Yeah. My thought originally was similar to yours, and then there's a lot of, let me give you a sort of not the competing point of view, but another point of view. Another point of view is that everything is energy. Now, just bear with me on the definition of energy. I know we could go, whatever, right? And that if you like, and forgive me because the language doesn't do it, as you know, but to try and explain it, as if as a subcategory or a substratum of energy, right, is consciousness. Just hear me out on this, right? And then that combination, if you like, consciousness and energy creates physical matter. But it's only that, if you like, the two of them coming together.
But that means there's two things.
Well, I know.
Ultimately, it has to be two things.
Right.
And I don't think that's a very unified idea, that there's two completely things.
It isn't.
Whereas,
it isn't.
Actually, what we're really saying is that that other energy bit,
it isn't unified, but just hear me out.
But it's it's not that different, really, except that I would just
put it this way. I'm probably not explaining it very well. What certain people seem to be saying is that you cannot have this physical saucer, right, without, if you like, two elements: energy and consciousness. The consciousness creates the saucer, if you like. by transforming energy, just transforming nothing, if you like, into something physical.
Yeah.
That's the point I'm making.
But
now,
yes,
if you have no division, if you have everything as consciousness, then it's like consciousness just creates the plate.
No, but that's right. But now what you have to think of it like this, that just as consciousness, say as a potter, uses mud to create the saucer.
Right.
All right?
Yeah.
Now, then you get down to the level of the saucer.
Yeah.
And you'll find that, there's levels of consciousness and lower levels of creation of the mud, of the atoms, of the molecule. So it's like the Russian dolls.
Yes.
We are looking.
Great analogy. I love Russian dolls.
We're looking at the outside one, thinking, a nice big doll, And then inside that, the consciousness is creating another one, which is creating, and ultimately everything is going down. Answer
me this: what is that outside doll? Forget the ones forget all the others inside the one doll. What is that one doll? Is that energy, consciousness, or both?
No, it is actually transformed consciousness. However, because of where we are at, we are not interested in seeing the vibrational energy of this. We're simply interested in the utilitarian kind of concept that this energy is now manifesting as something that fulfills my needs where my consciousness is at.
Yeah.
So according to where my consciousness is at, is how I see the universe.
I think you've sort of chunked down on what I was saying, maybe a couple of notches. What I was really getting at is, going back to your original point, is that if energy and consciousness are the same, are one, are unified, right?
What I'm saying is that there is only conscious energy, yes.
What is the creative force?
Consciousness.
Not energy.
No, energy, consciousness is energy. Consciousness can change. That conscious energy can be transformed. And it starts...
So there is a distinction between consciousness and energy. You're making a distinction.
We make, in simple terms, we make the distinction that matter is, if you like, material energy, and it's often very useful to actually say matter is one type of energy, spirit is another type of energy. And actually there's a lot of statements in the Vedas which actually really kind of plays on that. That there is paraprakriti and there's aparaprakriti. Prakriti meaning energy. Paraprakriti means, para means higher, so it means kind of conscious energy, and apara, which is lower. And that the two are living together, and that's how the world is functioning. Yes, and that is actually probably the most useful way of looking at the world, to think of ourselves distinct from matter. And we talked earlier about I am not this body, I'm different.
Yes.
However, what you were raising was a more esoteric question earlier about what is this aparaprakriti?
Yes.
Is it really so different from the paraprakriti, the spiritual energy? And the answer is that it's not something entirely different. It's not a completely different paradigm. It's actually a transformation of the paraprakriti.